Hello viewers, Super GT here. Thank you for joining me. Now this race, about to come up here, is going to be one of the best races ever. But, going into it, I really wasn't thinking that, because we're at Hash Brown Raceway, and traditionally, this brings up very bad memories. The last time it was an FIA race, it was a waste of 6 hours of my life, and I do not want to repeat that. So, why does this track bring out the worst in this game? Well, penalties is one thing, and the fact that it's an oval means everyone's so bunched up, everyone's so aggressive, things get very, very feisty, and there's always going to be that final ingredient of the barrier, which you might somehow visit, you might be pushed into it, and that does seem to happen, especially on the exit of turn 1. Okay. Across the line here, this is a bit of practice. Now in BMW, of course, you can see the times, low 43s, which was a little bit worrying because the best times were actually mid or low 42s. So going in here, I was a little bit tentative. I was in high spirits in some senses, I was positive, but at the same time, I knew that I was going to have to work some 5 billion IQ strategies in order to make this race work. Now, unfortunately, the first thing that didn't go our way is getting released way beyond the pack, way behind the pack, and therefore my qualifying lap was well off the pace. You need the slipstream here, you have to have it, because the lap times are so close. 1/10 or 2/10 can put you up 10 positions or more than that. So we go again. It's only a 5-minute session, but it's only 1 minute per lap roughly, so you can, well, it's about 43 seconds per lap. So you can do multiple laps. So we find ourselves this time for our second lap in a slightly better position. Hold up behind actually James 44, who we raced in the Monza race. You might remember from. We've got the slipstream. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the slipstream ahead of him, which is going to be a bit of a problem because it means that we're not going to have the slipstream for the entire lap, which is a little bit frustrating. So here we're going to pull over to the left, and annoyingly, this lap is not going to be that great. He kind of just gets morphed into the Shadow Realm. Can't quite explain exactly what happened there, but we move on anyway. And this is the frustrating thing. It's just an absolute mess. Cars sizing themselves up for their next lap. I'm still on a lap, so it's not really clear what the hell I'm going to do. I've been kind of forced into the barrier by this BMW, and we crossed the line. Is it going to be an improvement? No, it's not. So we did get towed, but it's no improvement. We're going to have to go again. So this this qualifying session, a little bit cursed, it must be said. But qualifying isn't the end of the world. The race, you can always work something. You can always make something work in this race, as you will see. Right. We had to bail out of that lap because we didn't get the tow. It wasn't going to be a better lap. So we finished 16th in the end, as you can see. Pretty horrific. Really rather horrific. But as I said, we can try to work something in the race. But before the race, let's roll the brand new FIA intro.
Sure, no one told me life was gonna be this way.
Alrighty, let's hope the penalty system doesn't decide to just dish out the law too harshly upon us. Now, whoa, okay, air traffic control having a bit of a mare tonight, as letting those jets get rather close to that passenger jetliner. We've seen that many times before. You would have thought they'd learned their lesson. Okay, 25 laps of Blue Moon, hashtag raceway, whatever you want to call it. Now, let's go very quickly through the strategy. Number 1, don't die. Number 2, don't get penalty. Number 3, don't die again. You see the guy ahead wanting, well, it's not exactly clear what he wants, but to me that means teamwork. Let's work together, which we're going to have to do to get to the car in front. You can see we've already been cut adrift of that group in front, which I don't know how that happened so quickly, but it has. As we take a quick look at the map, already the race has been cut into 4 groups, and I'm in the 3rd of the 4 groups, which isn't great. But, okay, in terms of strategy, 2 tyres required, well, 4 really, because you can't really drive a car with only 2 tyres, can you? You need all 4. This guy's serving a penalty, which is going to help. You're going to see that a fair amount, I suppose, people getting penalties. But you have to use the medium tyres, you have to use the hard tyres. Already this group in front, you see 1.2 seconds ahead. We need to be 0.75 behind to get into the slipstream. So we do need to gain at this point about half a second. So the teamwork is essential. The tiny differences really matter. And I've gone for the medium tyres here. I've gone aggressive at the start of the race, which means I'll have to have the harder tyre at the end, which probably won't help me because, you know, at the end is where the race really comes alive and where it really matters what tyre you're on. But for now, the medium tyres are going to help. The gap has come down to 0.8 to the Supra in front. Again, not quite enough. We need 0.75, so we need to gain a little bit more. But at this point here, the cars ahead have all got slipstream on each other, so that gap is coming back up. It's above a second now. Now it's a 1.1. So you see just how much time you lose by not being in the tow. Something else you have to really consider by not being in the tow is that you can't fuel save as much. If you're in the slipstream, you can save your fuel a little bit easier. And that is something we are going to have to consider over the course of this race. So you see the gap there, 1.1 to the car in front, 0.5 to the car behind. So unfortunately I'm kind of having to do all the work here. The guy behind, I'm thinking, is on the hard tyre. Therefore he can't really help me. This is where the medium really gains coming out of turn 1. And the car behind just can't really quite keep up there. As you can see the Viper. So we've got some cars up ahead. You can see them scrambling about left and right. This is going to help me here, as now I am fully within the slipstream of these guys. And I can kind of use them as sort of a bridge or a stepping stone to get back on terms with the pack in front, as you can see. So now moving up into 13th, beyond the Supra, we have another BMW for company just in front. So thankfully now we're not cut adrift of the group, and that is absolutely crucial. We can begin just to slowly work our way up the pack and hopefully get some 400 IQ strategies under our belt. So through turn 1, nicely through there. Okay, jobs are good, and we're going to play it patient. We've got, you know, still got 20 laps after this one. We don't want to do anything stupid. It's very, 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 very easy to get a penalty for something very stupid. I was watching Tishini's stream, and he got the most stupid penalty I think I've ever seen. As we go past 3 cars, I can't count. Past 3 cars there, and just look at that group. Oh my goodness! I mean, that's where you do not want to be. Thankfully, we are also just about in the tow of the car in front. So things are working out here. We're making forward progress with 20 laps of fuel left, with 20 laps to go. So that is kind of on course. What I would say though is that ideally you want to save a bit more so that you can really go full ham on those final couple of laps on the fuel. So we do need to save a little bit more at this point. So the Porsche slow on the right, another Porsche here. We're going to go past them both. Courtesy really of the slipstream, they don't have anyone in front of them, and I had the slipstream from them. So now as this, it seems as though not many people have gone for the medium tyre here. I've gone for the medium. Most people will be in the hard tyre right now, which means they will be quicker at the end of the race and I'll be slower. So I'm not really kind of sure how this is going to pan out at this point here. As we come up the straight, you see on the radar, you see there as we look behind, the car behind bumping us down the straight, which is good. We need to work together. As the group ahead, just around the corner, 1.5 seconds ahead, 1.5. So we need to gain 3/4 of a second. You see there, 1.4 now. So we are gaining slightly, but the problem that we are experiencing at this moment in time is the group behind being on hard tyres. So they come out of that first corner and they're not close enough to get behind me and bump draft me. So I'm kind of having to do a lot of the work myself and really chew up these medium tyres. The group in front really fighting. You see they're not quite in a single file line, you know, sort of looks like 2 abreast, replicating Noah's Ark, which obviously is a true story. And as we come through turn 1, looking at the gap, less than a second now, so we are gaining. It's not quite as quick as you'd like, but as long as we can get onto that group, then we should be okay. So this race just builds in intrigue as it goes on. You never quite know where you're going to end up. I mean, at this point I'm 8th, but I could just as easily finish 20th. It's that simple. You're on you're on the edge the whole time, because one weird penalty or one little moment goes against you, then you're going down. At this point, things have gone our way, so we're alright. See the group in front, someone with a penalty. Are we within slipstream range? Not quite. 0.8 at this point. So James serves his penalty, he moves down. We're not quite close enough, although it does seem as though I'm getting some help here from Mr. Heisen 57 in the Supra. So if he's going to bump me here, let's have a look at the radar. Can we feel that? Yeah, slight contact. So he's willing to work with me. We're going to work together to try to reel in this top group. So far things have gone well. We started, where was it? 16th. We started 16th. We're now in 7th. Progress is being made. Just need to get on terms with this front group. Again, looking behind. Maybe he does go for the bump draft. Okay, so it still helps. You've got to be careful with bumping very close to the braking point, because it can mean that the car in front gets it wrong, but on this occasion it was fine. So not quite close enough. Again, 0.9 behind, but this is a race of patience. You must learn the ways of being patient through this one, my children. And at this point here, looking ahead, just look at that. I mean, that group is fighting. So myself and this guy with me in the Supra behind, we're working together. We're not going side by side or anything. It's just full steam ahead. The group in front is fighting, and that is good news. We could possibly be in the slipstream range on the exit of this next corner. Let's have a look. Coming in on the 100 board, braking there, down 2 gears to 4th, taking the low line this time, and on the accelerator as early as you can without touching the wall. Look at that then, 0.5 behind. We are in the slipstream. Full GT serving a penalty. We move past him up into 6th position. Okay, familiar territory, but now you can see the difference in speed now that I'm fully within the tow. Car behind has no chance to get past really. Topping out 192 miles an hour there as we go into this left hand of the final corner of 3 of the lap. And now we are sitting pretty in the lead group. Looking at the map, there's 4 groups at this point in time. We're in the front group. That's great news. We have a chance now. I'm going to save a bit of fuel there, going into lean mix 6. If I can't get past done, might as well save some fuel. Through turn 1 then, on the exit. You've got to be careful here. You don't want to go too abreast too often, as you can easily get squeezed into that outside wall. We've got some momentum. What is going to happen here? We've got 2x2 once again, it looks like. Or actually, is that 3 abreast at one point here? So this is where things can easily go wrong. This is where you have to be really, 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 really careful, because one little bit of contact and you can get a penalty, or you get shoved into the wall, or you shove someone else into the wall inadvertently, and things can really go bad. Things can go south very quickly. But here, moving up into 4th position, so we're making our way through the pack. One guy did go into the pit lane there, I think a little bit too early. The main strategy really to employ is that you want to go into the pit lane with other people. You don't want to go in on your own, otherwise you're not going to be in the slipstream when you come out. That is the main thing you're thinking of there. You've got to be conscious of that. Up into 2nd, and this is actually a really good position to be. He flashes his lights, so we're going to bump him. Try to move away from the pack. 2nd's a good place to be because we are coming up to our pit stops here. I'm not sure which lap we're going to go in, but at least if I'm in 2nd, I can follow this guy. I can just copy what he does. So is he going to go in? Yes, he is. He goes to the left. Let's copy him. Let's follow. And you see everyone else behind follows. Everyone knows you have to stick together in these oval races. So we shift over from the medium to the hard. Let's see how much of an effect this has. I'm now on the worst tyre. So I gained well in that first stint. But you see on the exit here, look at that. You can see there just a small difference. The car in front just managed to pull away by a couple of tenths. That's quite worrying at this point in time. I need to make sure I stay within the slipstream just about. I just about am 0.6 behind. The group in front, sorry, is fighting, so we can hopefully just reel them back in through this corner. But over the course of this final stint, I am on the hard tyre, but the medium tyre will presumably wear out a lot more. A couple of guys bail into the pit lane, and we're back into 4th position. 12 laps of fuel left with 11 laps to go, so we've banked a lap of fuel at the moment, which is good. We can go a bit more aggressive towards the end of the race. So through here, you see there, this hard set of tyres definitely struggles a little bit more than the mediums, but as the race goes on, the longer it goes on, the harder tyre will eventually, the gap won't be as big. you know, the difference between the two tyres won't be so bad. It's always at the start of the stint, the mediums are always going to feel a lot better than the hards, but as the tyre wear becomes a factor, that will change. But here we go then. Right, 10 laps to go, 11 laps on fuel remaining. We're sitting in 4th. We've just set our personal best of the race so far. Remember, the car is getting lighter as you use up fuel, so you should technically be going quicker towards the end. But things are hotting up now. It looks like we've got a group stretching back from 1st to about 16th at this point. So I would honestly say that it is anyone's game. Anyone can win this in the top sort of 16 at this point. It really could go any way. But we're in a good position towards the front. Maybe you don't need to be directly at the front at this point. There's still a long way to go. There's still a good 6-7 minutes of racing left. So you don't need to be first. But as long as you're towards the front-ish, we're going to have the inside. Jack goes defensive. He's conscious of that. I think he wants to defend the lead from now to the end, which is not easy, but it's possible. Doffer in the GTR ahead, 3 abreast in front, 3 abreast behind. We're just going to nip in front of this Ferrari. We're going to bump Doffer in the Nissan GTR, and we're going to follow him through on the inside line now through turn 2, and that's going to put us ahead of the Chevrolet, or at least side by side with him. As we come to the final corner, we don't quite have the power, the speed on these tyres to go fully up the inside and get the pass done, so we're going to stay behind. Fortnite gets installed. Thank you very much, Fortnite. Now down the main straight to begin lap number 18. Fuel is still okay, but this race is very much hotting up. You see on the radar, take a look at the bottom right of the screen. 3 abreast through here. Be really careful, be really conscious of a car on your outside, as we were there. Don't drive to the outside and force someone into the wall. You're going to get a penalty for that, so you have to be really, really careful going through turn 1, especially knowing who's on your left, who's on your right, and just leaving space. You just do not want to get a stupid penalty. That is the main aim here. You need to just play the long game, make sure you're in it to win it. If you get a penalty, you're not going to be in it, and therefore you can't win it. But here, sitting in 5th. Okay, we've lost a position there on that lap, but we're just going to sit here for now. We're okay. The hard tyres are slowly coming towards us. We're going to try and work out our strategy to get back to the front. It's not going to work there. We bump draft slightly into the back of Raspy there. The Ford just goes in front. I just had to back out on the exit of that corner just to make sure we didn't make contact. So he gets in front, but then he serves the penalty, so we go back past him into 5th still then. Got a car on our left hand side, which is the Supra. Space opens up on the right, the outside. So he's going to ride the higher line through this final corner. Thankfully, or hopefully he sees me. Yes, he does on the left. And now it's a drag race between the two of us, trying to get in the slipstream of the cars in front. And the strategy I'm really trying to work out here is where to overtake. And I think this strategy here, to go deep into the corner and get the overtake done on the way out of the corner, is actually a good move. It's not going to quite work on this occasion, but it's something that I'm working out. You know, these races are very much ones where you have to kind of work it out as you go. Now look at this, the line. I'm not in line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could not get in the line, so I have to settle for losing a couple of positions there. So down into 8th. That's rather frustrating. The group behind, 0.5 behind, they're still just about within the tow. I was hoping that we might be able to cut them adrift, but it's not quite happening at this point in time. So we're going to move down the right hand side of the outside, coming down towards turn 1. Lap 21. 5 laps to go now. We're going to ride the high line here. Can we get an overtake done? This is what we're trying to look at. Get the move done on the exit. Very risky because the car on your left might not see you. They might run you into the wall. And if that happens, it's kind of race over. But it's worked on this occasion as we move through turn 2. Lap 21. So yeah, 4 laps to go after this one. So this is really the business end now. This is where things really matter. And people are going to get a lot more aggressive. This is where people are going to start shuffling for position. Things are going to get a lot more heated, like a Sky Sports football debate. As we cross the line then, to begin lap 22, I'm not quite in line of the slipstream, but look at this outside move. We're going to try and push for this outside move. The Nissan GTR on the inside, we're going to go deep into the corner, and then get on the power as early as possible, right behind the Viper. It's worked, look at that. Around the outside, now we have the slipstream of the cars in front. So we can use that to gain 4th position. So that's a good move. Around the outside, it works. you can definitely do that. Let's see if we can repeat that a couple of times and move up the order even more. Doffer in the lead, Aganator in second, Zfix Jack now into second. So the top 3 different cars, top 4 different cars, lots of different cars here actually. The GTR very strong in a straight line, and that car is in the lead at the moment. GTR right behind as well. Crossing the line with 3 laps to go. I've got 3 cars to try to overtake from here to the end. It's about 2 minutes of racing left to go. Aganator in the Chevrolet goes defensive, goes to the inside. We're going to try and employ our outside move again, and it's worked. Look at that, brilliant. So now, the benefit of that is obviously, look, you get the slipstream on the exit, so it's actually better to be on the outside on the exit of that first corner. So we move up another position. The intrigue is heightening as we now only have about 1.5 minutes of racing left to go. Doffer defending, Zfix Jack wants that position back. They're going to go side by side for the final corner. I've got Aganator on my inside. I'm going to give him the space, but just about keep the position. So Zfix Jack going to come across, yes he is. And he's going to tuck into the slipstream of Doffer. GTR following me through on the right hand side. Zfix Jack going to move to the left. That's going to give us the space again around the outside to try to employ this outside move. It's going to work, look at that. Got the job done. Up into second now with 1.5 laps left to go. So putting into the slipstream. Look at the group behind jostling for position. There's about 6-7 of us in this group, maybe more, I think 8 maybe. The group behind has been cut adrift. We're going to go for the outside line here. And this probably isn't going to work into this final corner. I'm going to play it patient, take the long way round. Although Doffer actually takes a decent line there, side by side. It's a drag race across the line. I'm in the lead at this point in time. Is this guy going to bump draft me? Yes, he is. We're going to move cleanly into the lead of the race on the final lap. I've timed this pretty much to perfection. On the exit of turn 1, we need to get a good exit here. I'm going to move immediately to the left to defend the position. Make sure no one can get on my inside into this next corner. The Honda or the Acura there serving a penalty. He's going to be out of it. Oh, with 2 corners left to go, Doffer, it's myself and the BMW versus the Nissan. Second to last corner here. He's on my right hand side. I made him to go to the outside. Final corner then. And through the entry, he's going to take a really good aggressive line and go completely around the outside. We're going to try and slipstream him back. But as we do, he runs out of fuel. And we're going to go past him, but then another GTR comes through and takes the win on the line. And that was so frustrating. I think I should have won that. That guy ran out of fuel. The guy who went around my outside, he ran out of fuel. Let's have a look at it again. So he goes around the outside, great move, pulls to the left, and he runs out of fuel. He runs out of fuel. And then, unfortunately, I go into the back of him and then get overtaken as a result. So I think some people will look at that and think he did it deliberately. Why would you slow down deliberately at the end of the race? He was about to win the race. So obviously he did run out of fuel. He got a penalty as well for that. But my goodness, what a race that was. It was really, really good. I think I should have won it really. But it's just one of those things. It happens, you know, you go into the back of the other car. After all that puts us 59th in our region, which is not too bad. We aim for the top 100. I think we can go maybe top 50. And in terms of BMW, I am 4th in BMW. So I was aiming for top 6, but I think 3rd is possible. Top 2 is long gone, but I think a 3rd is possible for BMW. But wow, I really hope you enjoyed that one, everyone. That was an absolutely mental race, and I actually really enjoyed it. It could have really gone badly, as this combo often does. But on this occasion, it was actually mega. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.